MONSTA X. Super group. All in. Wow.
되는 겁니까 그만 지킬 수 있습니까 그만 몇 번을 쓰러지고 다쳐 항복 받아내면 되는 겁니까 So yes sir 입술의 경례 너란 이름에 맹세를 해 장난 아니지 너 목숨 걸어 지켜줄게 목숨 걸어
너의 모든 게 다 perfect perfect 다른 여자들은 no thanks no thanks 나는 오직 너만을 원해 내 모든 걸 다 all in 너를 가질 수 있다면 난 뭐든지 다해 난 너에게만 all in 거짓말이 아니야 지금부터 나는 너에게 나의 모든 것만 다 걸어 내 시간과 돈 다 걸어 나는 너에게만 걸어 지금부터 나는 너에게 내 전부 다 걸어
내가 좀 무섭게 생겼어 the girl 어려운 말은 너의 말이면 다 들어 girl 내 표현이 좀 많이 서툴었어 주헌 내게 내 자신의 모든 걸 걸어
모든 게 다 난 완벽하니까 난 네가 필요해 난 너만 있으면 돼 기대해봐 넌 내 여자니까
그 자리에서 기다려
내 모든 걸 다 all in 너를 가질 수 있다면 난 뭐든지 다해 난 너에게만 all in 거짓말이 아니야 지금부터 나는 너에게 나의 모든 것만 다 걸어 내 시간과 돈 다 걸어 나는 너에게만 걸어 지금부터 나는 너에게 내 전부 다 걸어 Baby 너는 너무 아름다워 이제는 내가 널 가져야겠어 내 전부를 다 걸어 난 내게 다 걸어 다 걸어 Oh well yeah yeah 난 내게 다 걸어
I'm all in what you're saying 상관없는 너가 telling what I got and 나의 모든 내가 all in
I'm all in what you're saying 상관해 널 가질래 what I got and 나의 모든 걸다
걸어
I'm all in what you're saying 상관없는 너가 telling what I got and 나의 모든 내가 all in
I'm all in what you're saying 상관해 널 가질래 what I got and 나의 모든 걸다
Okay. So this is part 1, Lost. I thought there were going to be multiple parts within the video. You're saying there's a part 2 to this. Okay. So here are my thoughts on this. Aside from the German Shepherd at the end, where we see the giant flower, I'm thinking, petunia, the begonia that was in the sky. Outside of that, I feel like there's a pretty significant story being told. Now, these are the pieces that I get within the first watch, okay? I see, like, I see loss, I see revenge, I see what it could have been a bank robbery, maybe some kind of heist, some kind of crime. I see like freedom fighters. I see maybe some vigilantism. Maybe there's a lot of different pieces. Okay, it's connected to other stuff. Okay. Yeah, I felt lost too, but I was thinking that, well, I didn't think there was a part 2. Apparently there is. But let me ask you, for those of you that know what's going on, did any of what I just said line up at all with what's actually going on? That's my first question. And some of you are saying that these guys do have lore. Okay, they do. Yes. Okay. So the blue flower represents some kind of life, which I'm assuming was something similar to what was throbbing in the sky at the very end. But these guys went from like small, close-knit group supporting each other, protecting each other, to extrapolate that to they've gone through a whole journey, and then there's this next phase that's happening. Because like we saw them in the beginning putting the flowers on the soldiers' guns, showing no fear whatsoever. Then later, when they find this thing in the sky, they have guns. They're dressed in white. They have different guns, but there's an evolution that happens. Time travel? Oh, and another thing I was going to say was I was really fascinated by the story. There were a couple parts of the song that felt like they went with the moment that was happening in the story. And that kind of allowed me to, I don't know, what's the word? Dare I say, understand what was happening more. But there were parts of the song, mainly the beginning, where I couldn't even manage to find the beat. And audibly was so confusing that I had trouble even focusing on the story. I don't know if that'll make sense. But if you listen to this first part, when the music kicks up, I had trouble kind of getting my feet on the ground. Now, I can hear the beat. I hear the rhythm, but it's chaos. Now, I will absolutely say this is probably going to be one of those times where I come back to you 2 weeks from now and I go, hey guys, do you remember when I said this? Well, I listened to it again and maybe. Now, I will agree with you, Tasha. It says, well, I always thought that was on purpose. I think that, well, first of all, that is absolutely a technique. If you want the viewer to feel that way, you can use things like this to help them feel the way that you want them to feel. However, the reason I'm struggling with that in this context is because that moment, one, it's right at the beginning. Not a huge deal, but look what's happening on the screen when it takes place. We're kind of just establishing these guys in their environment. That's all that's happening, right? Now, this part of the song I really liked. I like these flows. I like this beat, this rhythm. And coming out of the black and white and into the color, it is a perfect pace switch to go from whatever this first part audibly was to this part, top notch. Now, let's look at this. I don't recommend this, first of all. He's got a couple things going for him. One, the guy's finger's off the trigger. That's good. Two, the safety is probably on, and the gun has not been shot for at least a little while. And I know that because you can't see it. But there's a little piece right here that's called the ejection port cover. Whenever you shoot the gun, this little tiny door swings open, spring-loaded, springs open, and then the cartridge, the empty bullet casing, flies out. So if that door is open, the gun's been shot recently. And nobody shoots their gun and then closes the ejection port. Nobody does that. Still don't recommend this. Don't look and be like, his ejection port cover's closed. No, bad. And then just a little side note, because I do like talking about the military stuff. The one thing that would, if I were these cats, this is just Roscoeisms now. The one thing that would kind of throw me off a little bit about this group of, I'll say soldiers, whoever they are, is that the weapons are a little mismatched. That would have me raise an eyebrow. It's not massively uncommon, but the more of a mix and match you see with weapons and gear can sometimes be an indicator that you might not be dealing with an actual organized force. And you can use that information however you need in that moment. That can be enough information for you to go, maybe these guys aren't an elite fighting force. Maybe they're a bunch of bozos that went on Amazon and grabbed a bunch of cheap shit and they're trying to intimidate people, which means 2 + 2 is 4. I might have a shot. No pun intended, but you see what I'm saying? Information. Now, do I expect these two guys trying to sell shoes on the side of the street to go whoop everybody's ass? No, because they still have guns. I'm just saying, information. I know they're actors. I know it's just a scene, but even the way the guy is holding the gun, like, okay. He's not looking to whoop some ass. Like, he's just kind of there. And the gun is very clean. Like, he just bought it at Walmart. Just got it. Receipt still hanging off the grip. Now, what you could also do is take that flower and put it into the end of the barrel, and then when he goes to shoot the gun explodes. I'm kidding. That's a cartoon trick. Don't do that. It's not real. Also, your thumb. So for me, this is where the vengeance part kind of creeps in. We start to introduce that story. Man, I'm really kind of torn on this one. This is 8 years ago. Is part 2 out? How many parts are there? Like 17 parts? Is it like a BU all over again? 25 parts. Yeah, I'm curious. I think I might we'll scour the Discord and see if part 2 has been requested. And if not, I'll just throw it on there myself. And we'll check out part 2 and see if it all kind of comes together.